Assalamualaikum, my name is Siti Aisha. Now I will explain the introduction for our topic, which is urban poverty in Malaysia. So, what is poverty? Poverty is a socio-economic issue that all countries face. It is also a condition in which a person or community is deprived or lack the necessities for a basic level of well-being and life. According to the World Bank, poverty is defined as hunger. Poverty is defined as a lack of shelter, being sick and unable to see a doctor, lack of access to education, and the inability to read. These essential may be material resources that people in poverty could not afford, such as food, safe drinking, shelter, or they may be social resources such as access to information, education, healthcare, social status, political power, or the opportunity to develop meaningful connection with other people in society. Poverty is classified into three types, which is the absolute, relative, and hardcore poverty. Absolute poverty occurs when a household income falls below a certain threshold, making it impossible for the individual or family to meet basic needs. Relative poverty occurs when one group mean income is less than another group. And the last one, household whose gross monthly income were below half the poverty line income (PLI) were classified as hardcore poor. Moving on to urban poverty, people who live in cities with income below a specific threshold and who have restricted access to various social services are said to be living in a condition of urban poverty. This is meant when people are having insufficient household income, a small asset base for household, insufficient public infrastructure and services, insufficient legal protection, and exploitation and discrimination. Example of urban poor is overcrowded housing, risk of forceful eviction, lack of safe, poor provision for sanitation, drainage, and solid waste collection. Urban poverty is a problem that developing countries face. Malaysia is no exception when it comes to urban poverty. In the last few years, poverty in Malaysia city has been seen as a more visible problem caused by the effect of urbanization. According to the poverty rate that was published by Rauda Hishman, who is an research expert that governs Singapore, Indonesia, and Malaysia, she stated that Malaysia's urban poverty rate was 3.8% in 2019, which is not too high. But Malaysia's urban poverty has significantly increased as a result of pandemic COVID-19 that hit worldwide in 2020. The B40 has been hardest hit by debt, job loss, and lack of income, but their fixed costs have stayed the same. Recent years show that about 20% of the M40 now belong to the B40 club. Because the government did not take any action, urban poverty got worse until it became the biggest problem today. The cost of living in the city is very high, especially in Kuala Lumpur. Living in the city means surviving in a financial economy that requires a lot of the generation of cash ringgit.
Next, I will talk about the issues, which is the first issue is the household income gap. In economic, income inequality can be defined as a considerable gap in the income inequality across people, group, communities, social class, or nation. Furthermore, in 2019, a B40 household is the one that earns less than 4,850 per month with 2.91 million such home, whereas M40 household earn between 4,850 and 10,959, and T20 household make more than 10,960 per month. According to Malaysian current Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob, the current health and financial crisis caused by COVID-19 outbreak has forced 580,000 households, which represent 20% of all households in the M40 category, to slip into the B40 category, which is the poor income group.
The next issue is high cost of living. The high cost of living includes a variety of essential costs, including for housing, food, transportation, and education. It can be seen that Kuala Lumpur, Selangor, and Johor are the most high-cost states, and the house price in those areas usually really high. Besides, these urban areas are having shortage of affordable housing, is more severe for households earning between 3,000 until 5,000 per month. In 2020, Malaysia have been hit by pandemic COVID-19 and gave significant impact to the people, as many people have lost jobs and many households have shifted from the higher income group to the lower income group. There are a variety of factors are causing the cost of living to increase. For example, it can be seen where price of goods may rise by up to 60% in June due to implementation of a minimum wages of 150. Because of that, it will be difficult for many people to make ends meet, especially for people that live in urban area that categorized as urban poor.
For the next issue is the high population density, which poverty increase when per capita income growth slower because of rapid population growth. And there is pressure in need of land because of landlessness that cause Malaysia densely populated poor. And lastly, would affect the health and education of present generation because of the poverty of the family itself.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nuana Johani and I will explain about the next issue that leads to urban poverty in Malaysia, which is high unemployment. As what we have seen in this new era, urban poverty has become critical as time goes by in Malaysia, especially when our country suffered from pandemic COVID-19. Based on the Department of Statistics Malaysia, the rate of unemployment for October was 4.3%, which similar from October 2021, as more people in unemployed group are looking for a job. Their life is on the edge since they are desperately need to survive with the high cost of living in urban area, which at the same time they do not have source of income. Not only that, if those people are in active employment for a long time, they are more likely becoming a long-term unemployment, which will invent to a poverty trap. The reality hit when a study conducted by UNICEF shows that 500 families are living in the low-cost apartment in Kuala Lumpur, which adult children from the age of 18 to 64 years old happen to be unemployed at the highest rate.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nur Adibada Amitasharir. I will continue with the implications of urban poverty, which is citizens need to do more than one work. The most common reason why they are working multiple jobs is because they want to save for the future. Due to the high cost of living, most people in urban areas are experiencing a very tough time to survive for a longer period. They must perform multiple jobs to stable their financial in their households. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department of Economy, Datuk Seri Mustafa Muhammad, said that the Department of Statistics will review the poverty rate, which is 2,208 ringgit for households and 1,169 ringgit per household for the hardcore poor. However, he said that the country's poverty line, PGK, will be revised. In 2020, most countries including Malaysia were experiencing a very tough time since most people had lost their jobs. All those affected people came into solution by involving themselves in business from home or doing part-time job like Grab food. This is the reason why urban poverty has become a major factor of social ills and will destabilize the society.
The next implication is low quality of life. Poverty can be regarded as a significant cause of crime which drive many urban poor as they deal with problems such as high cost of living, uncertain jobs and limited opportunities. A reason why urban poverty has been connected with crime is because it is an opportunity for our poor to obtain materials that they want otherwise they cannot afford. There are one case that happened in urban area which is Petaling Jaya, Selangor, Malaysia, where a mother was caught stealing body temperature cooling paste for her sick son as well as pandan cake and sausage because she cannot afford it. Besides, by having a low quality of life, many people, especially children, will lose the opportunity to have education. It can be seen where the children from urban poor family will miss out on educational opportunities. Most of them had to drop out of school at a young age in order to support their family financially, which required them to work because they are lack of money. People living in urban areas who are not part of the urban poor can send their children to prestigious school, while urban poor families struggle to send their children to school. This situation is quite concerning since it will lead in an education gap, particularly for students from low-income urban homes, making it impossible for them to get out from poverty.
Next, the people had demand on the same goods and services, but the availability is low. The resources can be need of work, also can be referred on the minimum requirements of Malaysia's poverty line income, PLI, which are the food, clothing and footwear and also other non-food items. So the poverty can cause a scarcity mindset that makes these people into suboptimal decisions and behaviors. So it is also because the people in the poverty face the tight budgets that need to balance between current and upcoming expenditures.
Next, I will talk about the erosion of purchasing power. The purchasing power of a currency is the amount of product or service which one unit of money can purchase. In addition, the decline in how much customer could spend with a fixed amount of money can be interpreted as the purchasing power loss or the erosion of purchasing power. Other than that, the urban inflation climbed faster than rural inflation, which indicates significant influence on the price of commodities and food in urban areas are quicker than rural areas. Furthermore, when the households that have declined in purchasing power and the price of food is greater in urban areas, it will lead to an urban poor, lack of healthy meal, which could also result to spread of disease that could lead to a serious problem in the urban areas.
The other recommendation that helps to curb the poverty in urban area in Malaysia is by having family planning. Family planning services are becoming high priority in urban area rather than rural areas, since those who live in urban area tend to have more difficulty such as financial, which compared to wealthier residents in urban area that lead to the barrier of family planning among the urban poor. The bright side of having family planning, it can directly increase the household income, as the cost to spend in support their children are much lesser rather than having many kids with low income. Not only that, family planning programs could encourage investment in children to both income and price channel by choosing to delay on childbearing. The relationship between family planning and poverty reduction indicate a number of benefits family planning offers in terms of socio-economic development and environmental protection.
Next, I will talk about the Social Safety Net Program. The Social Safety Net Program can be interpreted as an initiative taken to assist the poor and vulnerable in coping through crisis and shock. In 2019, the government spent 26.5 billion or 1.8% of GDP on different social safety net programs. The benefits that being included are the cost of living allowance (PSH), subsidies and transfer payment to the disabled, elderly, the poor, the minor without caretaker, and or asli. In addition, the government launched many economic stimulus programs such as Prihatin, Rakyat Economic Stimulus Package Prihatin, the Prihatin Plus, and others. Furthermore, the wage subsidy scheme was also established as part of the same program to support the retaining of employee earning less than 4,000 ringgit Malaysia and employer facing more than 50% loss in income since 1st January.
The third recommendation is increasing employment. Firstly, the government may assist those unemployed people by giving financial assistance like subsidies in terms of money for them to pay their education or skills for them to compete in labour market or to start business. Most companies would offer job opportunities to those who had job experience or match skills, opposed to those who did not have any. Second, the government should reduce the age of retirement to give the opportunities for unemployed to work, such as fresh graduates. The Minimum Retirement Age Act came into effect from 1st July 2013, allowing workers in the private sector to retire at the age of 60 instead of 55. Therefore, in order to ensure that the number of unemployed young people in Malaysia is not affected, the retirement age should not be revised. The last one is to maintain political stability to create higher employment rate. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob stated that the unemployment was decreased in 2021, where the target was to provide 500,000 jobs, but they were able to provide 580,000 jobs for the people, and the aim for the year of 2022 is to provide 600,000 jobs. That's all from me. Thank you.
Town planning can eradicate the poverty by focusing on planning of the poorer areas such as the squatter village, low-cost housing areas, new and traditional village areas, so it can improve the unemployment, stabilize the housing costs, proper management by the state authorities, improving education and health, also better policies by the government, as example is implemented in Calicut, India.
In conclusion, poverty existed in any area around the world. The major focusing of poverty is urban area, as it was known to be the most developing place, which became the center point of people to look for a job. The issue that arises on how urban poverty happened in Malaysia shows that we are still lacking in shaping our country towards economic goods that will benefit the people. Therefore, through the suggestion that has been mentioned, can help to prevent the situation of urban poverty to be happen in the future. It also has been proved by certain study according to poverty that happen in urban areas. That's all from us. Thank you.